I'm Ruth David. I am Senior Manager for Client Development and Surrogate Matching at Creative Family Connections. We are a full-service law firm and surrogacy agency in one. But as a law firm, you are contracting with a law firm, you are hiring a lawyer, you are our legal client as the IP. Your legal interest is paramount, including and most importantly your parental rights. And we work with surrogates only in states where we are sure that we can protect those legal rights, and we will explain to you the process for her state, how it works for you, any additional steps that are necessary. These are the things that we're going to do as your attorney. You will have full client confidentiality as our client. Your money will be protected in an escrow account as our client. On the other side of the coin, we're also a full-service agency. We do full-service surrogate screening, we do full matching, and then we do handheld case management throughout the journey, from the time that you are matched at your match meeting or your introductory meeting, all the way through the pregnancy until after the birth. As part of our matching program, we are extremely, extremely picky about our surrogates. And I will tell you that Jen is one of our surrogates, as well as a case manager. She did one journey for us for a couple of gay dads, and then she came to work for us, and then she became a surrogate again for us for a couple of gay dads. And she's 16 weeks, and you'd never know it because she's a champion pregnant person. But after I'm done, I'm gonna throw the floor to her and let her just kind of take your questions, because I think that's probably what you wanna do. For our matching process and our screening process, we are extremely picky. We take about 2% of all the women that apply. It will take a while to match you. I'm going to be honest with you. Set your expectations realistically, that to find really quality women that are really solid, that are doing this for the right reason. They're not a dime a dozen. They're hard to find. We're running right around probably 9 months if you want to be realistic. It could be 12 months if it takes us a little bit longer, or if you just have bad luck and the surrogate we identify for you for some reason, we find something at her in-home or on a reference. But you will get matched, and if you stick with the process and you stick with your doctor and you trust your doctor and you trust us, you will have a baby. 100% success rate as long as you believe in the process and trust your partners and stick with it. To screen our surrogates, we do not only the basic application review, telephone interview, sending her records to your clinic for a pre-approval. We also do an in-home interview where one of us flies to her house. So I did Baltimore last week, I'm doing St. Louis next week. We want to not only see the home where she's gonna be pregnant with your baby, we want to see the area we have to drive through to get there. Am I scared to drive from the airport to her house because it's like, such a bad area? We also want to see, is it kept clean? Does it smell like smoke? If someone says I'm not a smoker and you walk in and the house smells like smoke, something's off there. Like, your house doesn't smell like cigarettes if you're not smoking, or someone's not smoking. You don't want to go
visit your surrogate and be like, I don't understand why they got picked.
Exactly. And there have been instances where I've done an in-home and might have looked fine in pictures, and she might have been phenomenal on references and on paper, and I get there and I can't walk out and say I'd like her to be my surrogate. I'd like her to be pregnant with my baby in this house. And if I can't, we let her go. And she'll go work somewhere else, and that's okay. But I couldn't live with myself if I saw the house and it wasn't okay for me and I said it was okay for you. So that's just a part that's included as our standard screening. We also do references. We talk to friends, families, coworkers. Sometimes if she's working somewhere, we want to make sure she has support in the workplace. If she is affiliated with a religious house of worship of some sort, we're going to make sure that she has no beliefs that interfere with surrogacy, that she has talked to her clergy to make sure, she's like, I'm sure they're fine. If that's a big part of your support system, you don't want to assume they're fine. You want to know they're fine and that they don't have beliefs that impact surrogacy, or that they don't have beliefs about working to make gay parents. We want this to be a happy journey for everyone, a safe journey, legally, ethically, and personally. We're going to match you to someone that you're their dream parents and that she's your dream surrogate. We have lots of surrogates that only want to work with gay parents. We have some that only want to work with straight parents, and it may not be her, it may be her extended family. It's her prerogative, but we're not going to try to make her work with a gay parent, because we want her to want to work with you. And the same if she said, I only want to work with gay parents. We wouldn't make her work with straight parents. We want to make everybody's dream come true.
But it may be the same as you want to work with a married surrogate, whereas we have some that are single parents. So it can work both ways. We just make sure it's
absolutely. And there's all these things that are going into every match. And then, when you get down to the nitty gritty, and if there's two parents that are about ready to match, and there's one surrogate that's ready and they came in about the same time, if they have something really cool in common on the side, we know the surrogate candidates, we know the IPs. We're gonna say, this is the better match. They have all these things in common. We're gonna decide on this. It's not just next in, next out. We also will work with your IVF center. We have relationships with all the clinics here. We will send the records. We will make sure we have all of her delivery records before we introduce you to her. We don't want to break any hearts that you love each other and then we finally get the records in and there's something there that wasn't on the application. We'll reach out to your doctor, say, hey, we're sending the records over. It's for this client. Could you please take a look and make sure there's nothing buried in there that when she comes for screening that they're paying for that she's going to fail out on. We have a super high rate of the first match sticking, and we have a super high rate of our surrogates making it through medical and psych. So you might wait a little longer because we're trying to do this in home and we're trying to talk to references and we're waiting on records and clearances, but the rate after we introduce you to someone of it being the one is really high. We're not going through 3 surrogates in 2 months because they weren't fully screened.
You guys meeting each other, then one party not agreeing, and then the other party's heart's broken, you know?
Absolutely.
It can go either way.
Yeah.
It's better to have someone that matches well before then.
As part of your legal team and your case management team, and then I'll throw it to you, we do a birth plan as well. So at about the 2nd trimester, we're going to talk to the hospital where your surrogate's going to deliver. We're going to talk to the case manager there. We're going to tell them it's a surrogacy. Be prepared for more people to be at the hospital in the delivery room. It's gay parents. Know that these are the parents. She's not the parent. She's not making the medical decisions.
But I don't want to.
And she doesn't want to.
I definitely don't want the child. So.
Yeah. And we ask in advance, can they have a room with the baby? And probably 90% of the time, they can. The only reason they typically couldn't is if there's just a rush on babies in the hospital. But even in that case, she wouldn't be in the room
that actually
with the baby.
With my last delivery, the random one day it was busy, and they found a room in L&D. So they do want you to bond with your baby. Think about it. I mean, most hospitals are paying their nurses to care for a baby, but if the parents are caring for it, they don't have to. So they want you to be with your baby. So it works well to have a birth plan to spell it all out so that everyone's on the same page for the actual birth.
Yeah, the hospitals tend to be very thankful and say, thank you for letting us know so that we were prepared, so that we weren't like, who are all these people that just
came in? They bring up questions you didn't realize you had, you know?
Exactly.
Delivery day.
Yeah. So once we've done all of this pre-screening, we will put a package together, send it to the parent reviews it. If they're ready to move forward, we will send a letter to the surrogate candidate to introduce you. Again, we've done the screening to make sure you're ideal for each other. So it's most likely going to be, yes, we all want to work together. And at that point, we would assign you a case manager that's going to be your sort of hand-holding, touchy-feely, let me take care of everything person for the rest of the journey. We're all still there. You're just adding to your team. So if you happen to bond with someone on the matching team, you can always reach out. But you would be assigned a case manager that's going to be your dedicated point of contact from that point forward. And then I'm going to let Jen either just open it to questions about that process once you're matched and how the journey and the surrogacy relationship goes, or you can talk a little bit, but it's up to you.
Does anyone have questions?
Yeah, it's going to get short, so.
Yeah.
What drove you to do this for the first time when you did it?
So I'm actually a nurse by trade before I was a case manager. But then I was a surrogate and I really wanted to work here, so kind of do both. But it was just, I like helping people, honestly, and it was just something, I like being pregnant and I have 3 of my own kids. So it just kind of was natural to want to help another family. And I had an amazing experience the first time, and right after I had a baby, I told my doctor, I'm like, I want to do this again. And then I learned I could do it another time, but it's just, honestly, it's awesome. And actually my twin sister was a surrogate too, so it's great.
From the intended parent's perspective, what are some of the largest challenges of working with an agency outside your local area?
I mean, I would say, I mean, probably 30% of our clientele is international. I don't think that there's a big difference. I don't think there's a big difference in your agency, in the clinic, or in the surrogate relationship. I mean, your agency, you don't really need to go there a lot. We're Skyping with you, we're talking to you, we're texting you. Your clinic, you're only going to go a couple times. Your surrogate's only going to go a couple times, and then everything's going to happen where she lives at her OB. There's not, to me, I think it's more about connecting. If you meet with 2 or 3 agencies and you really connect with someone and you know that they have, you know, an excellent program, an excellent success rate, things like that, go with that agency if they're established and have a good reputation. Same with clinics. If they have a great pregnancy success rate and they're well, you know, they have a good reputation in the industry and you really bond with this doctor over that one and everything else being equal, but one of them's across the country, go with the one you bond with, because you're not going to.
Most of your contacts, email, phone, that sort of thing. And actually, like, just not really to answer your question, but some surrogates live farther away from dependent parents and have a better relationship because they actually put more work into the contact that they do have. You know, it's not like, well, they live down the street, I don't need to call them today, or, you know. So it's, I know you asked about agencies, but it's sort of the same thing for any of them. It's probably the same amount of contact for local or not local.
I think it's in this, trust level is kind of the ultimate thing. As long as somebody is well established, well respected, has the success rates and the track record, go with who your gut tells you is right for you. Because even among the best of the best agencies and clinics, there's different styles. We're not perfect for someone that's like, I don't want to have any contact with my surrogate, I just want to come pick up a baby. That's not an ideal client for us. We're very high touch and hand holding. But there are agencies that are more like, we can work with that. We can make this more of a machine type. And there's nothing wrong with it, but you have to have the right parent, the right surrogate, the right agency for whatever style is yours.
From a legal standpoint, like, so you represent us, but I know that they said that you have to have, you know, legal representation for the surrogate and, you know, the egg donor. So how does that come into play?
Really good question, because no one's asked it. So what we would do is we would make sure that the surrogate has her own legal representation, and the way we do that, it's in her state, and it's often someone that's in this room. So in a lot of instances, we're sort of colleagues and we're competitors even in some ways, but we're also working together because they may have a surrogate that we're doing legal on, and we may have a surrogate that they're doing legal on.
They know the state laws for that state
Exactly.
better. So if there's something certain that needs to be in the contract for when it comes time for parentage later, it's better to have someone for this that's in the state that the surrogate is to be able to represent them.
Yeah, but she has to have independent legal counsel because you're our client. There could be no conflict of interest there with the legal representation.
So I can tell you, they signed something when they joined the agency saying that they know that we represent the client. So it's not an unknown thing, and I still felt supported and everything like that, but we know that it is the client is the intended parent.
So cost effective, you know, do we pay for her legal representation as well?
It's just part of, it's part of what goes into your overall fee. Everything that's paid for the surrogate, maybe what you talk about the surrogacy expense account maybe, because you're a case manager.
So we kind of estimate how much it typically costs per journey, and some of those funds go into the surrogacy expense account. So depending on where the surrogate's flying from for the clinic, because it's not always local, oftentimes it's not, that comes out of that certain account. And whatever's not used in that account would then go back to you later. So it'd be the same for an attorney. Some states are different prices. So we have a certain amount we collect for the gestational carrier attorney, and whatever's not used then goes into your surrogacy expense account, and whatever's not used there would go back to you at the end. And that's the same with any agency. You'd always have to pay for their legal representation and their transport. You know, they should be paying out of pocket for anything.
Yeah.
Since they're kind of going into it to help, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Great question.
Yes.
What are some of the normal, I guess, I don't want to say requirement, but requests of an IP for a surrogate? Like, what are the kind of things that we can ask
So
a surrogate?
Theoretically, you could ask for just about anything. Realistically, if you want to be matched quicker, try and keep those parameters wide open.
Only have to keep the really important ones.
If something is a deal breaker to you, make it a requirement. If it's just a strong preference, tell us I have a strong preference for this, but I'm open to discussing the candidate. Because sometimes people will come in and say, I absolutely want someone with a college degree. And we'll say, well, but what if someone, was in college or has a trade, went to trade school? But it could be anything. She could be president now of her PTA and of her neighborhood board association, and she could be volunteering for some huge, you don't know. People go on to do great things, but a lot of people get stuck on something, and that's just an example. If you can leave it open, there's a huge gulf between someone that,
care about race, some care about age, some care about where they live, some care about if they're married, some care about how many kids they have, certain things. So she's right, if you keep it open, it's just a lot easier. And the clinic has their requirements too, obviously.
Would those be those things that you just mentioned, would that be like a normal,
These are the
normal requests?
The things that she just mentioned are things we're going to ask you when you sign on and you're working through your agreement for services.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Termination is something you should never not go with what you're feeling. If you feel like you may want to terminate a pregnancy for any reason, that's something you definitely need to match with someone that has the same preferences. Doesn't mean you would terminate, you don't have to make those decisions now, but you want someone that's open to it if it's a possibility. So like that one I would never vary on.
Right, yes, oh, okay.
Time warning.
Yeah, the things that Jen just ran through. The things Jen just ran through, location, education, marital status, race, religion, these are the things that are a little more fluid. So the more open you can be on those, at least to a conversation, if we had an otherwise great candidate that wasn't your ideal, the faster your match will be. But don't bend on, like Jen said, things like termination issues. But that's something we're going to drive home so hard with you, we would never let you.
I mean, things do come up, so that's just something, or if there's something else very important to you that you know could upset you later, it's not worth bearing on either, so.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
We have less than 2 minutes, so any
How
other?
many babies did you have?
We've had now almost 400 babies in 19 years.
I'm glad I could help with that.
And you did, yeah, you had some of them.
Helping.
That's right. That's right.
Any other questions? Or-
So I guess what I'm gathering is that for you all, it's about quality, not quantity.
It's about quantity,
Have
not,
high numbers of success, but, out of your, maybe lower numbers, but the quality of the relationship and how the process of it is better versus just kind of.
that's kind of where we want to be. Like, we actually will, sometimes we'll slow down the influx of clients because we want each case manager to only have a maximum number of cases in each stage. We want to be, I feel like one thing that's nice about us, we were a major player. We've been doing it 19 years. We're at all the conferences. We created the map that Jen has copies of that keep track of the state laws. But we intentionally stay small enough to still be handheld, to know our IPs really well, to know our surrogates really well, and to keep that personal experience, that personal touch.
That's fine.
Yeah.
I think our time's up, right?
Yeah.
Yep. Thank you so